The Acolyte episode 6. We are now 2 episodes left after this week, and I felt very, very sleepy with this episode because nothing happened, really. Nothing really happened at all. It was just so boring. And I've been saying that quite a bit, I know. But this episode, like last week, was not boring. It was just a lot of, like, a big, long fight sequence. But this one was just a drag, man. So it's another in-betweener episode, man. It's just we're in this new place and we get to learn a few things, I guess, and then it just ends. Like nothing really happens. So we did the whole switcheroo with May and Osha. Osha's now with the big old Smilo Ren guy, and May is now traveling with Master Soul. So Osha wakes up in this cave on this random island, and she walks out. She sees that she's on some random island. She doesn't know where she is. The credits play, we cut back to her, and she just sees Cremir, the Sith guy, apparently, just casually strolling along. Why not? Then we cut to Master Soul, who is now trying to contact the Jedi, and of course he is unable to, so I guess they're still keeping that little bit alive of where, like, okay, maybe he won't be able to contact the Jedi, and that's how they still don't know. But the issue is with, Ki-Adi-Mundi, and they already know that the stuff is going on, so it doesn't matter if Soul even contacts them or not. They should already even feel it in the Force that a bunch of Jedi just died. They already know stuff is happening. They already know that there's a master out there for May, and they're just not reporting it to the High Council. So let's ignore that issue for today, because it's the overlooming issue right now with this show, and I don't know how they plan on really resolving it in some way, in their own way. I don't know. It shouldn't be happening to begin with, but they're doing it. Another thing I noticed in this episode is Master Soul is a terrible Jedi Master. He's awful. He's awful at this. He's fine. He's probably one of the more likable characters in this show. Amongst this group of characters that are just so uninteresting, he's probably one of the most, it's like, okay, I can kind of like him every now and then. He's a terrible Jedi Master. He can't even tell when his own former Padawan is not with him. For a lot of this episode, he's just sitting around, feeling upset and talking with Osha, who is really May, on his ship. And you can see May almost coming after Master Soul for a little bit. And that also contradicts the whole thing with May that she was doing like a few episodes back, where she wanted to turn herself into the Jedi out of nowhere. And now suddenly she wants to sabotage Soul and turn against him again. I don't know what the hell is going on here with this character or Master Soul. I don't know what's going on with any of these characters. I don't get it. I don't get what they're doing. So May's character is like literally all over the place. Master Soul is a terrible Jedi Master who can't even tell his own Padawan is not in the room with him. Then we cut to Cremir taking a swim, really weird scene. And then he gets out, and Osha is there pointing his lightsaber that she picked up at him, and they have a little conversation. And it's basically this whole situation where it almost seems like Cremir wants to have Osha become maybe an apprentice to him instead, because May was not good enough, and he doesn't want to, have May as an apprentice anymore. And that's kind of the whole thing here. So, yeah, he killed all of her friends, and that's something that she says to him. But he's like, well, you can go if you want. You can go swim over to the ship that I got over on another part of the island. It's like this whole seducing into the dark side type of thing. We've seen this before in different Star Wars media and whatnot, but once again, he's trying to convince the light side person to become dark. That's what I'm getting from it. So, another thing I noticed, and it's been throughout this whole show, these lightsabers in this show are freaking massive. They are massive. Like, every time anybody picks up their lightsaber, it's just like this massive bulking thing that they pick up. It's so huge. I don't understand why. Like, are they using like the sabers that actually light up and they have all the batteries in them and stuff, and that's why they're so much bigger? I don't know, actually on set. But the lightsabers are huge. They're huge in this show. So we got more scenes with Master Soul and May, who is pretending to be Osha, and I personally, I really don't think Soul knew it was May the whole time until a little bit later, when we'll get to that. But he doesn't seem to know that his own Padawan that he trained with for years, we assume, isn't in the room with him. He just doesn't know, and he just thinks that's her. That's pretty bad. So we do cut to the green bald-headed lady who I can't take seriously at all. I cannot take this lady seriously, and I can't really tell you why. I don't know if it's our acting or just the character's look. I don't know what it is, or the freaking lightsaber whip, which we see a little later. There is something about her. I cannot take this character seriously whatsoever. I just chuckle every time I see her on screen. She's on screen. She gets alert that the whole team basically died. So Soul did get the message across that the whole team died, but not to how the whole team died. So now they're alerted to basically almost everyone dying on that planet. So now they're going to go investigate. We do learn a little bit that Quamir might have been a Jedi, and he's a Jedi that's fallen. So maybe that's a story they'll tell us about a little bit later. We do get to see May pretending to be Osha once again on the ship, and she's messing with that droid that Osha had. And she does a little factory reset on it, just like a phone, literally like a cell phone. She just hits she holds 2 buttons for like 5 seconds, and then the thing resets, and then does stuff for her. I thought that was kind of interesting. I guess droids just operate like a cell phone now. We got some more conversations with Quamir and Osha, and it's basically talking about the dark side, and maybe you should join me, the Jedi. They taught you disillusions. They're disillusioned in the Force, and maybe you can access the Force in different ways, and just learning to access it through the Jedi ways. Maybe you can see anger, fear, the dark side. Maybe you can access the Force through the dark side, and that's how I use it. So it's the basic talking points of the dark side. He's trying to tell her all about how cool it is, right? So we do get a scene with her with his lightsaber, and she almost tries to kill him, maybe kind of, but not really. She hesitates because of plot, and then she just doesn't kill him. We do get to see the green bald-headed lady and her random Jedi friend here that are going to go now out and investigate the Jedi killings. Master Soul finally finds out that May is on his ship and not Osha, and I don't think it was him that figured it out, because right after he blasted her with the stun gun, the freaking rodent thing that's been running around this whole episode is still alive too, and he's in there, and I think he literally just told Master Soul that, oh yeah, that's not Osha, that's May. So why would they have this little rodent guy? I don't even remember his name still. Why would they have him show up behind Soul right as he finally figures it out? So I think he literally just found out because of the stupid rodent, and he couldn't sense that it's literally not her. I don't know how he couldn't, but that's bad. That's bad. So we got some more scenes. We got some scenes with Quamir talking about his helmet and cortosis. It's the material that his helmet's made out of. He talks about it a little bit. And it's basically, once again, just the similar talking points of, maybe you should try it on. Try my helmet on and learn about it a little bit. It mutes his senses, and he's like, maybe you should try it out. It's all just seducing, trying to show Osha the dark side is just so cool. We do get some scenes here with green bald-headed lady once again. We get to see our favorite Jedi all dead on the ground again. So they went and see all the dead Jedi there. So we do get some shots of them on the ground. Then we get the lightsaber whip thing. And once again, when she pulls it out, man, that thing, the lightsaber hilt is massive. It is massive. She pulls it out. She does a little whip thing, which we all knew was coming. I think it looks silly. I mean, we've seen whip things in Star Wars before, but I think this is literally just the pure lightsaber energy this time. It's not like it's not like a thing that's, energized that comes off. It's literally just lightsaber energy, I think. So I don't know how that actually operates. I don't know how that works. But now we do this. We got a scene with Soul and May. May is now locked up, and Master Soul wants to talk to May. And that's really it. He just wants to talk to her and then go rescue Osha and stop her master and stuff. And then the final scene of the episode is Osha being tempted. She reaches for Quamir's helmet when he's not in the room, and she puts the helmet on. I don't know if they're trying to tell us that, they're going to do even more of a big flip-flop. They're going to make Osha start to turn all bad against a Jedi or something, and then May is going to start to become more sympathetic. Look, I don't know. It's just a guess. It really is. I don't know what they'll do with this show, but that's what happens at the end of the episode. Really weird. It just puts it on and sits there. And then the episode ends with her breathing, almost like Darth Vader. I don't know if that was supposed to be suspenseful. I didn't feel nothing. I just thought it was really weirdly awkward. There's a lot of weirdly awkward scenes where they're just standing there and they're not talking. They're not making any noise. They're just kind of walking around, looking around. It was a very slow, boring episode of The Acolyte. And that's been a lot of these episodes, to be fair. Last week was not boring, but it was just a lot of fighting, and then they moved on. So, look, I don't know what to expect with this show going forward. There's 2 episodes left. Will there be another season? I wouldn't doubt it with Disney at this point, even if the show was the worst ever and it had no ratings whatsoever. I think Disney would still renew something like this, just because outside of some of the major plot issues that could still arise from this show right now, I don't like this show is bad. It's definitely not great. The acting of literally the main star of the show is not good. She's not great. I think the Khmer actor is better. I think Master Soul's pretty good. But a lot of it is not as obnoxiously bad as I thought it would be. They're not as preachy. Episode 3 was probably the worst of that we could get, at least so far. But it's not as preachy and just like over the top ridiculous in sense of like pushing things and ideology and whatnot, but it's still just bad, and it's just not overly. A lot of it's just boring overall. A lot of it's really, really slow and really, really boring. That's how I feel about it. I'm really bored watching this. I'm not angry. I'm not like sad or unhappy or super excited or happy about it either. I'm just bored, man. I'm gonna see the show through. Of course, I want to actually know what happens and have actual takes on it. I want to know what I'm watching here, so I can have an opinion on it. But it's very, very boring, and it is still breaking lore issues right now. And that those are the big things I see people talking about at the end of the day. Every week, it's those issues. So we'll see what happens. A lot of issues still to resolve. Maybe the show will actually do something next week, but we will see.